Today, we're plunging into something that, honestly, it feels like a superpower once you get it. How these tiny, tiny daily choices can basically transform your entire life. Okay, let's unpack this. So our deep dive today is focusing on James Clear's, well, really game-changing book, Atomic Habits. We're looking at it through summaries, reviews, the whole lot. And our mission, it's to give you a genuine shortcut, not just, a summary, but the core wisdom for building those lasting good habits. And this is crucial, dismantling the really stubborn bad ones. We want you to walk away with stuff you can actually use, like right away, without feeling totally overwhelmed.
Yeah, and what's really fascinating here, I think, is how Clear fundamentally shifts our focus. It's not just another, rah-rah motivational book. It's presented as a practical, scientifically backed system. And it argues that real lasting change, it comes from building solid systems and making countless small decisions. It's not really about chasing those grand, sometimes elusive goals. It's more about understanding the architecture of change itself and then, well, becoming the architect.
Right, the architect. I like that. And that architecture, it starts with what Clear cleverly calls the atomic power of small changes. And this is where the math just kind of blows you away, doesn't it?
It really does.
Imagine getting just 1% better each day. For a whole year, you'd end up, 37 times better? It's incredible.
That's astonishing, yeah.
But conversely, if you slip just 1% each day, you decline almost down to zero. So atomic means small, yes, but
Yeah.
incredibly powerful, cumulative.
Like tiny bricks building a huge wall. Exactly. And this ties right into what he calls the plateau of latent potential, which is such a common experience, right? You start a new habit and nothing seems to happen. It's demotivating.
Oh, totally. You feel like you're spinning your wheels.
Precisely. He uses the analogy of warming an ice cube from -1 degree Celsius to 0 degrees. You're putting energy in, but you don't see a change until, bam, 0 degrees. Then it melts. The change seems sudden, but it was building up all along.
Okay. So the breakthrough was happening invisibly first.
Yes. So this reframe is vital, those consistent, tiny improvements. They accumulate, often unseen, and then suddenly become visible. It helps you see those frustrating plateaus not as failure, but as a necessary part of the process before the results show up.
That plateau of latent potential.
Mm-hmm.
That really reframes how we look at starting something new, doesn't it? It takes the pressure off immediate results.
It absolutely does.
Building on that, one of the quotes that really, really hit me from the book was, "You do not rise to the level of your goals, you fall to the level of your systems." It almost sounds backward compared to how we usually think about growth, right?
It does initially.
So from Clear's viewpoint, what is the fundamental difference between goals and systems? And why is that distinction so critical?
It's a huge shift in mindset, really. Goals are about the outcome, the finish line, what you want to achieve. Think run a marathon. Systems, though, they're about the process, the daily actions, the habits that lead you towards those outcomes, like put on running shoes and run 3 times a week.
Okay, so goal is the what, system is the how.
Exactly. Clear argues that if you only focus on goals, you're kind of always chasing something. You either hit it and then what? Or you miss it and feel defeated. But if you build strong systems, the right outcomes tend to follow naturally. It's about designing your daily actions so success becomes, well, almost an inevitable byproduct. Less about hoping, more about engineering.
I like that. Engineering success. It feels more proactive. And Clear pushes this even further, saying real change starts with identity, with who you are, not just what you want.
Precisely. This is the core of identity-based habits. Instead of focusing purely on an outcome, I want to run a marathon, you shift to an identity. I am a runner.
The I am statement.
Yes. Or instead of I want to write a book, it becomes I am a writer. Your actions then start to align with that chosen identity. Every time you lace up those shoes or, sit down for 10 minutes to write, you're essentially casting a vote for the type of person you want to become.
I love that voting analogy. Makes every little thing count, doesn't it? I used to think change needed some, lightning bolt moment.
Right. We often look for that big push.
Yeah. But Clear is saying, no, every tiny action is like putting a ballot in the box. And okay, one vote won't change your beliefs overnight.
Of course not.
But as they pile up, they create real evidence. Proof. Those small wins aren't just progress markers. They're literally proving your new identity to yourself.
Exactly right. It's a feedback loop. Your beliefs about yourself shape your actions, and your consistent actions reinforce those beliefs. By proving that new identity with small, consistent actions, you solidify it. The habits start to feel natural, ingrained, not something you have to force anymore.
Okay, so that's the why. Now, how do these actions actually become habits? Clear breaks down the famous habit loop: cue, craving, response, reward. Many people might have heard of this, maybe from Duhigg or others, but what do you think gets missed when people try to apply it? Where are the tricky bits?
That's a great question because, yeah, the loop sounds simple, but the nuances are where the power lies. Let's quickly define them, then hit the subtleties. The cue is the trigger: time, location, emotion, the thing that just happened.
A little nudge.
Right. And what's often missed is how subtle or even unconscious these cues can be. Then there's the craving. This isn't just wanting the reward itself, it's the anticipation of the state change the reward brings.
The feeling you're chasing.
Exactly. And here's a key insight. Dopamine, often thought of as the pleasure chemical, is actually more about anticipation and motivation. That dopamine spike makes you want to act to get the reward.
Okay, so dopamine drives the wanting.
Pretty much. Then the response, that's the actual habit, the action you take. And finally, the reward, which satisfies the craving and tells your brain, hey, this loop, it worked, remember it. The real insight isn't just knowing the steps, it's seeing how they're linked and how you can consciously tweak each one.
That makes so much sense, especially the anticipation part of craving.
Yeah.
And knowing this loop, it's empowering, right? It means you can take apart any habit, good or bad,
Deconstruct it.
and then consciously put it back together
Exactly.
in a way that serves you. And Clear gives us the tools. There are 4 laws of behavior change. These are like the levers you can pull.
The psychological levers, yeah. They allow you to essentially engineer your own behavior. Become that architect we talked about.
Okay, let's dig into law number 1. Make it obvious.
This is all about awareness. You can't change what you don't notice, right? So you need to make cues for good habits really visible and cues for bad habits invisible. A super practical tool here is the habit scorecard. It's not just a to-do list. It's more like an audit.
An audit of your day.
Kind of, yeah. You list out your daily actions: making coffee, checking email, scrolling social media, commuting, and then you rate each one: positive, plus, negative, or neutral. It forces you to see what you actually do and which tiny actions might be triggering bigger, less desirable patterns without you even realizing it.
Okay, that sounds confronting but useful.
Yeah.
So once you have that awareness,
Then you get intentional. That's where implementation intentions come in. It's a fancy term for just planning when and where you'll do something. The formula is simple. I will behavior at time and location. So I will meditate for 1 minute at 7 a.m. in my living room. Super specific.
makes it harder to forget or put off.
Exactly. And you can use habit stacking, linking a new habit to one you already do. After current habit, I will new habit.
Like, after I brush my teeth, I will floss 1 tooth.
Perfect example. Start small. It links the new behavior to an established cue. And this flows right into environment design. Clear flat out says, motivation is overrated. The environment often matters more.
Wow, okay, so willpower isn't enough.
Often, no. Your environment is full of cues. You want to design it to nudge you towards good habits. Put your running shoes by the door. Keep healthy snacks visible. Put the book you want to read on your pillow.
Make the good cues impossible to miss.
Right. Think about the opposite, too, those office candy bowls. They make a bad cue super obvious and easy.
Okay, so to break bad habits, the flip side is make it invisible.
You got it. Reduce exposure to the triggers. If your phone distracts you, put it in another room when you need to focus. Unsubscribe from tempting email lists. Make the cue disappear.
Simple, but probably very effective.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've made the cue obvious. What's law number 2?
Make it attractive. Once the cue is there, the habit needs to feel appealing, something you actually want to do.
How does that work, tapping into the brain's reward system?
Well, it leverages that dopamine loop we talked about, the anticipation. If you anticipate something pleasurable, you're motivated to act. Clear suggests using temptation bundling here. This is where you pair an action you need to do with an action you genuinely want to do.
Right, linking the must-do with the want-to-do. How would someone practically apply that,
Yeah.
say, for boring admin tasks?
Great example. The formula could be, after I habit I need, I will habit I want. So maybe after I process my emails for 30 minutes, I will listen to my favorite podcast for 10 minutes.
Or, only when I'm on the exercise bike habit I need can I watch my favorite Netflix show habit I want.
Exactly. You use the desired activity as the immediate reward for doing the necessary one. It makes the chore more attractive.
That's clever. What are the social influence part? How big a role does that play?
Oh, it's huge. We're social creatures. We tend to imitate the habits of 3 main groups: the close, family, friends; the many, the tribe, the culture; and the powerful, those with status. So one of the most effective things you can do is join a group or culture where your desired behavior is the norm. Want to exercise more? Join a running club. Want to read more? Join a book club.
Surround yourself with people already doing it.
It normalizes the behavior and provides built-in support and, frankly, a bit of healthy peer pressure.
Makes sense. And then for breaking bad habits, the inversion is make it unattractive. How do you do that?
Often it's about reframing, highlighting the benefits of avoiding the bad habit, or changing your self-talk. Instead of dreading something like waking up early, ugh, I have to get up at 5 a.m., try framing it positively. I get to wake up early, enjoy the quiet, get a head start. Associate the avoidance of the bad habit, hitting snooze, with positive feelings about the good one.
Shifting the feeling associated with it. Okay. But even if it's obvious and attractive, it feels like a huge effort.
You probably won't do it. Exactly. Which brings us to law number 3, make it easy. This taps into the fundamental law of least effort. Humans are wired to conserve energy. We naturally drift towards the easiest option.
So we need to reduce the friction for good habits.
Precisely. Design your environment and your processes so that doing the right thing is as easy or even easier than doing the wrong thing. Think about technology adoption in a company. If the new software is clunky and hard to learn, people stick to the old ways even if they're less efficient. You make it easy with training, good design, easy access.
Remove the hurdles. And this is where the famous 2-minute rule comes in, right? Which sounds almost too simple.
It does, but it's incredibly powerful. The idea is when you start a new habit, make it take less than 2 minutes to do.
Like read before bed becomes read 1 page.
Or do yoga becomes take out the yoga mat. Study for class becomes open my notes. Run 3 miles becomes put on my running shoes.
It's about mastering the art of showing up.
Exactly. The point isn't the 2 minutes. The point is making starting ridiculously easy. You can build up later, but you need to establish the habit first. Habits are the entry point, not the finish line. Lower the barrier to entry.
Get the momentum going.
Yes. And this also relates to decisive moments. Often, your choices are shaped by small decisions made moments before. Winning that tiny choice, just opening the document, just putting on the shoes, sets the trajectory. And don't forget, one-time actions and automation. Things like setting up automatic savings transfers, buying healthier food, deleting distracting apps, getting a good mattress. These are actions you take once that automate good habits or eliminate bad ones with minimal ongoing effort.
Set it and forget it for good habits. Okay, so the flip side for breaking bad habits is make it impractical or difficult. Add friction back in.
You got it. Increase the number of steps between you and the bad habit. If you snack too much, don't keep junk food in the house. If you watch too much TV, maybe unplug it after use or put the remote in another room.
Make it a hassle.
Add friction. Install website blockers for distracting sites during work hours. Make the path of least resistance lead away from the bad habit.
Okay, that makes sense. So, obvious, attractive, easy. What's the final law?
Law number 4, make it satisfying.
Ah, the reward part of the loop.
Exactly. And this hits on Clear's cardinal rule of behavior change. What is immediately rewarded is repeated. What is immediately punished is avoided.
Immediately being the key word there, right? Because our brains prefer instant gratification.
Totally. We value the present more than the future. So for a good habit to stick, especially when the real benefits are delayed, like getting fit or learning a skill, you need some kind of immediate success signal. This is where immediate reinforcement comes in. Give yourself a small, instant win right after completing the habit.
Like what? A little celebration?
Could be anything. Enjoying that healthy smoothie after a workout, moving a paperclip from one jar to another, putting a big X on your calendar, using a habit tracker app and seeing the streak grow.
Ah, habit tracking.
Yeah.
That visual progress feels good.
It really does. It makes the progress tangible and creates its own satisfying feedback loop. You don't want to break the chain. It provides immediate proof you're on the right track.
And what about when you inevitably slip up? Because nobody's perfect.
That's where the never miss twice rule is gold. Look, missing once is an accident. Missing twice is the start of a new, unwanted habit. So the rule is simple. If you miss a day, get back on track with the very next opportunity. Don't let one slip snowball. Perfection isn't the goal. Consistency is.
Forgive the lapse, but get right back to it. I like that.
And for breaking bad habits, you want to make them unsatisfying. The inversion here often involves immediate consequences.
Like adding a cost.
Exactly. This is where an accountability partner can be powerful. Tell someone your goal and have them check in. Or create a habit contract, maybe with a financial penalty for slipping up paid to an anti-charity. Knowing there's an immediate cost, social or financial, makes the bad habit less appealing and adds motivation to stick to the plan.
Okay, so let's try and wrap this up. This deep dive into atomic habits. The core message feels incredibly powerful, doesn't it?
It really does.
These small atomic habits, they compound. It's about focusing on systems over just goals and really thinking about identity, who you want to become. And those 4 laws make it obvious, attractive, easy, satisfying. They give you a real practical toolkit, a way to actually engineer those habits. This deep dive feels like a genuine shortcut to getting these ideas working for you.
Absolutely. And while the framework is incredibly powerful and practical, it's maybe worth just mentioning, it's often later on, say, deeper academic nuances or structural factors.
What do you mean by structural factors?
Well, things like really tight time constraints, significant money worries, ongoing health problems, maybe a lack of support in your actual environment. These things can make habit change much harder than just applying the 4 laws. So it raises an important question, I think. While individual effort is obviously key, how do we also spot when we might need more? Maybe systemic support or a bigger change in our environment that goes beyond just personal habit design. Sometimes the system around you needs tweaking, too.
That's a really crucial point. It's not always just about individual willpower or design. Context matters hugely. And as we close out, I want to leave everyone with a final thought, something provocative from Clear himself. You should be far more concerned with your current trajectory than with your current results. So if every action you take is like a vote for the person you wish to become, what kind of ballot are you casting each day? And maybe, how could you adjust that voting strategy starting right now? Think about your trajectory, not just where you are today.